Hey you guys, welcome to Friday Live. We are the Scobeys. I'm Ashley.
I'm Graham.
And chances are if you are human, you have thousands and thousands of photos on your phone and on your camera, and you need to know how to store them, what in the world to do with them, how to organize it. And today on our Friday Live, we are going to talk all about photo storage.
Yeah, so we have been photographers for 11 years
And have
professionally.
taken 10 bajillion photos.
We literally have it's probably millions of photos on hard drives at this point. So photo storage and photo organization is a huge, huge topic and something that we wanted to dive into today and kind of chat with you about, tell you some of the mistakes we've made, talk about some best practices, and talk about some of our favorite apps for organizing photos.
Yeah.
So if you're tuning in from Facebook, we want you to know that these are going live on YouTube, and we really want you over on our YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing these Friday Lives both on Facebook and on YouTube, but our YouTube channel is going to contain a lot more content. We're producing videos every week over there, and we're just trying to share as much as we can about photography for our photo nerds. So if you are a photo nerd, give us a thumbs up or a wow face, and let us know where you're tuning in from. Are you over on Facebook? Are you on YouTube? Where are you in the world too? We'd love to know that.
Or in outer space. If we have any astronauts in the audience, you're the coolest.
Yes, yes. And maybe we'll interview you on outer space photography at some point.
That would be amazing. So iPhones and digital cameras are two of the most ubiquitous forms of technology that are around right now, which is kind of easy to believe, right? If you are sitting at a computer right now, you probably have an iPhone or a digital camera or both within like arm's reach of you. And what that means kind of numbers wise is that every 2 minutes, okay, I want you to hear me say this because this blew my mind. Every 2 minutes, we create as many photos as even existed in the world 150 years ago. Okay, so back when you had to like sit still with a somber look on your face for an hour in order to create a single photo, now we are making photos and taking pictures at a complete unprecedented rate. And this is really cool. We're not like mad about this at all. We think it is an amazing thing that we have such accessibility to documenting lives, because that means that we get to create photo legacies in such an easy way. Okay, the downside of this is that we kind of water down the experience of photography, right? We create so many photos that they tend to exist only on our phones or only on our laptops or only on our digital cameras, our SD cards, that never get put anywhere. They never get organized. They never get printed. And so at some point, the photos that you're taking, the ones that may mean so much to you right now, right? First birthday parties, family vacations, your cousin's wedding, all these things that are extremely meaningful, at some point, the technology that they are on is going to be about as useful as a floppy disk, okay? Raise your hand if you remember floppy disks. If you don't, if you're really young and you're like, what is that?
Not really young. I mean, I think we were like maybe the last generation. We were like the last generation to know what a floppy disk is.
Yeah, so like even in the past 12 years of being wedding photographers, the way that we have stored photos has changed. And we've seen, CDs and
DVDs
and thumb drives all kind of
cloud storage.
Kind of go by the wayside, and now we're in cloud storage. So we thought it was really important to come on here and talk about why photo storage matters and how you can implement some of these storage solutions and organization solutions into your life so that your precious memories do not go the way of all your college papers that are on a floppy disk, never to be seen or heard from again, right?
Yeah.
Because for us, the entire purpose of photography, the only reason that we take photos, is to create these time capsules that will transport us back to a moment in time that we get to remember, that we get to relive. And if it's not accessible, you don't get to relive it. Yeah.
A photo is a viewing experience, right? Mm-hmm. So if that photo is somewhere buried in a hard drive and nobody's ever looking at it, then it's might as well not be there. It's not an experience anymore. It's just taking up space on a hard drive.
Exactly.
So we're going to talk about several different solutions that we have used for different reasons, and then some that we haven't used but we hear good things about.
Yes.
The first thing that we want to talk about, though, is Lightroom, because as professional photographers, Lightroom is an essential tool for us. And so that is our go-to photo management solution.
Yes. And a lot of people think about Lightroom as an editing tool, and it is a robust editing tool. It is also a killer storage and organization solution. So we're going to talk about that. This is the only paid option that we're going to talk about, but we're talking about it first because it's the one that we use most often.
Yeah. So we thought instead of just talking about Lightroom and some of these other solutions, we'll just show you how we use them.
We're so fancy right now. You're going to see our computer from Mars.
Hopefully. New technology again, as we did last week. We're just going to keep trying new things.
Keep going. Why not? You guys don't judge us. You embrace us and all of our weirdness, so it's good.
That's right. All right, so let's flip over here, and I will pop into Lightroom. So this is a master catalog that we use to organize our personal photos. So we have a different Lightroom solution when it comes to our client work. Every client gets their own Lightroom catalog, but for our personal work, we put everything in one master catalog. And the reason that we do that is because if you organize your photos that way within Lightroom, you can search all of the photos without having to change catalogs. You can add collections and other forms of organization that really help you with organization. So if you've never seen Lightroom before, let's just start with what we're looking at. So we are currently in the library panel. And Lightroom has a number of different panels for different things, and they're all pretty self-explanatory. The develop panel is going to be where you make adjustments. You've got a map to show you where you took all your photos. You can lay out books. You can make slideshows. You can print. You can lay things out for web. But the library panel is where we're going to do all of our photo organization. So on the left-hand side, you can see a number of things, and I didn't go back and relink all our folders because we actually pulled this catalog onto a different computer than the one that it's normally on. So you'll see some things here, like these little exclamation points and the things next to the drive that aren't green. That just means that I haven't set it up correctly because I pulled it to a different computer so that we could share it today. So don't worry about all that. But just to give you a general idea of what all this is, you have folders, which are where your actual raw files live. So when we drop these down, you can see all of these files, or all of these folders rather, live on a hard drive somewhere. And we've told Lightroom, we want you to include these photos in this catalog so that we can see them. So that's what all of these are. Below that, we have collections, and a collection is something that we can make at any time, and it doesn't move where our photos are physically stored. So they're a really good organizational tool within Lightroom. You can come in here and make all sorts of different collections for different purposes. So, we have for Lolly, we've got a collection here that we made to send photos to grandparents, right? We've got all sorts of different collections based on what the occasion was. So, here are some different road trip, different trip collections. We have, we use this for all sorts of different things. If we're printing photos for a wall, for instance, we'll create a collection for that. And then we can easily click through any of these and go straight to that collection of photos very quickly and easily. So another thing that Lightroom allows you to do is add keywords, and that can be really powerful as well. This is especially helpful if you are like a stock photographer. Stock photographers use keywords a lot because it'll actually embed these keywords straight into the metadata when you export photos from Lightroom. So that's one way to use keywords. Another way is to use them sort of like collections. So we have a number of different keywords here. In our wedding work, we use a lot of keywords in a very particular organizational fashion. to mark what part of the day, what part of the wedding day those photos came from. So we don't use keywords as much. Collections and keywords can function very similarly. That's the biggest difference, is that keywords are going to embed that into your metadata, and it's helpful for searchability online. So yeah, that's a basic overview of Lightroom. Do you have anything you want to add to that in terms of like photo organizational stuff?
I guess what would you say are Lightroom's biggest pros? Like, what are the things about it that make it really good for photo organization?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I would say that Lightroom is it's a local app, so you don't have to upload your photos anywhere for you to be able to use Lightroom. It's all working off of local storage. So that's one thing that makes it different than I think every other solution that we're going to talk about today. With the exception of like Apple's Photos. You don't have to be connected to the internet to use it, which is a pretty big deal. Another pro I would say is that it's a great interface for organizing photos, but it also attaches to great editing tools. So the develop module really is really robust and gives you a lot of editing capability that other photo apps are just not going to give you.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, those are probably the two that I would highlight.
Awesome, very cool. So Lightroom does not actually store your photos for you.
No, so Lightroom is acting as an interface that is accessing all of the photos that you have stored. So yes. When you go to import, you can tell Lightroom, I want this photo to go in this particular place on my hard drive or on one of my hard drives. But Lightroom itself is not encapsulating those photos or pushing them up to the cloud and putting them somewhere. Yeah. You have to physically tell it where.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, let's jump into some of the free options that we think are really good for the storage organization. The first one is Google Photos. So if you have a Gmail account, you already have Google Photos. You may just not be using it. It's a free storage solution, and it automatically organizes all of your memories, as it says. So it's super customizable, and it will organize things based on face recognition. It can say like all the pictures of Graham, all the pictures of grandparents, all the pictures of my best friend, right? You can set it to do that. You can set it to organize photos by place, all the pictures of us in Colorado, Georgia, Turks and Caicos, different organization, different folders. Or you can have it organized by time. So April 2019, May 2019, like that. It's very customizable. You can tell it how you want to organize things, and it will continue to organize things that way for you. So here is the coolest thing about Google Photos. And we actually don't use Google Photos, but now that I've read up on it, I think I might start using it. So the cool thing about it is that you can install the Google Photos app onto your iPhone, and every time you link up to Wi-Fi, it will automatically suck the images out of your phone, put them in the interwebs, and organize them for you. So all of the storage space on my phone that is being taken up by photos, so much of it, it will automatize that process for you, and you don't even have to think about it. You just have to hop on Wi-Fi, and it'll do its thing, which is pretty cool.
Totally. Yeah. And so because being that it's a Google product, the searchability of all this is incredible. So yes. They're actually analyzing your photos and figuring out what's in those photos. And then you can literally type in tree on a mountain and get the photo of the tree on the mountain that you knew you took, but you don't want to spend, an hour going back through all your photos to find.
Bearded husband.
Yeah. That one would have a lot of photos.
So many pictures.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can check out Google Photos. I would say here's one thing that some people are concerned about. When you upload your photos to Google, you're giving Google your photos. And reading their agreement for using the application is we highly encourage. Some people feel that it is invasive on their privacy. And so if that is you, if you fall into that category, then maybe you should use one of these other local solutions that we're going to talk about, like Lightroom or Photos on your computer.
Yeah. But like if you're on Facebook or you have an iPhone, your privacy is already being invaded. So
That's true.
What's a little extra privacy invasion at that point, right? Just kidding. If that's something you're worried about, you do you, for sure.
So the other one that we wanted to talk about, or one of the other ones, is iCloud. And we use iCloud because we are a part of the Apple bubble.
It's a family.
The Apple fan club.
It's a family, yeah.
All of our devices are Apple. And so iCloud makes it really easy because it automatically syncs from your phone or from your home computer if you tell it you want it to do that. And all of your photos get sucked up into the same place. So Ashley's photos from her phone and my photos from my phone and Evie's photos that she takes with our iPad or whatever.
Which is basically just pictures of her nostrils up close.
Yeah. Or like screenshots of the...
Kids Bop Kids.
Yeah. But those all go into the same place. Yeah. And then they have a similar organizational system here. So you can create albums and I think they do have some facial recognition. I know they do in like the iOS app. But I would say in terms of being that I've used both Google Photos and iCloud, I think the searchability and the facial recognition features in Google are way more robust. And it makes sense because Google is a search engine. That's their
Google's
job.
Google, yeah, totally.
But iCloud is great. It's kind of one of those brainless, it's like Time Machine. If you have an Apple computer, you don't have to think about it. It's just always doing what it needs to do. And then you can access all of your photos from all of your different devices, which is cool. The downside with iCloud is that right now, and I don't see this changing anytime soon, they charge you for storage. So you get a small amount of storage to start with an iCloud account.
15 gigabytes, right?
It's pretty low. Yeah, it may be even less than that. And with photo sizes increasing these days, you run out of space really fast. And then you start incurring a monthly charge for more and more photo storage. So that's kind of a downside. It starts as a free thing. It ends up not being a free thing. There's other free applications that do the same things. And so it's really hard to recommend iCloud, even though it's what we use, because there's so many other ways to do this that are free and potentially better.
Yeah, totally. Better organization.
Sorry, Apple. If you're watching this, fix it, and then we will recommend you.
Yeah. Also, you do a lot of things really well, and you can't be good at everything. So
That's true.
I mean, they pretty much are, but
yeah. So Amazon is the other one, and this is one that I didn't even know existed until Ashley told me about it. So I can't talk about this one at length.
Amazon Photos are really cool. So if you have a Prime account, which unless you live on a desert island somewhere, you probably do have a Prime account, right? They come to our house like more often than relatives. And if you have a Prime account, then their photo storage solution is free to you. And the cool thing about Amazon Prime Photos is that they'll store your photos, but you can also, through Amazon Photos, order photo books or prints. You can make these images tangible, which is something that we're going to talk about in a few minutes. But the fact that they make it so easy, all of those things, the books, the prints, the canvases, everything shipped for free because Prime. So also a really cool solution, very similar to the way that iCloud and Google Photos does things in terms of organization, but again, probably not as good at categorizing because it's not Google. Yeah.
Cool. So then the other local solution that we can talk about, because we have an Apple computer, is just Apple's native photo app. Let me see if I can pull that up. I don't think I had it ready.
It's right there.
Yeah. Photos, it's actually a similar layout to what you see in iCloud. So that's another cool thing about Apple is they kind of copy their user interface over all of the different photo solutions that they have. So if you're familiar with one, you're going to be familiar with all of the others, be able to find things quickly. A couple of cool things about Photos. It does have some editing capabilities, not as robust as Lightroom, but again, it is free. So that's great. And they're constantly expanding what Photos as an application can do. You can organize the things into slideshows. You can their slideshow function is really cool. Actually, it'll automatically create like a magical video that'll play through that has good transitions and pulls photos in and tries to tell a story even without much input from you. So and they have some other features as well. Now, all of these solutions are very similar. Really, I would say, I can't speak to Amazon, but I would assume that Amazon falls in this category too. But like Photos, iCloud, Google Photos, they're all going to have a similar feature set. Lightroom is the one that stands out in terms of really giving you a much more robust editing experience, and it's more geared towards professionals. So it does have some syncing capabilities. So if you wanted to upload to a cloud and change things, you could, but it's not as good in terms of like just organizing your personal photos as some of these other apps. So the trade-off makes it, Google Photos, Apple Photos, iCloud make it really easy organizationally on you. Don't give you as much tools to edit your photos. Lightroom gives you way more editing capability, but not as much native, non-thinking photo organization. Yeah. You kind of have to set your own systems to organize your photos within Lightroom.
Yeah. So when it comes to your memories and your photos, they are really important, right? And this is our bias because we're photographers. But the thing about each of these solutions is that it's technology, and it is technology that we do not have control over. So let's just pretend like all 18 gajillion photos that you have taken in 2019 sit on your phone, and that is where they stay. And then one day your phone falls in the toilet. Those photos are gone. So we like to talk about something called redundancy in photo storage. And redundancy is just having your photos in multiple places. Yep. So that when technology fails, when Google disappears, that probably will never happen, but like I'm not in control of it, so I don't actually know, right? But when something happens like that, when Mark Zuckerberg pulls the plug on Facebook and all the photos that I have there are just gone, that I have them somewhere else that is accessible, where they're safe and they aren't just gone forever.
Yeah. So you can accomplish photo redundancy through a number of different ways. Mm-hmm. Like Google Photos, for instance, takes all the photos that are on your phone and puts them into the cloud, so they're automatically redundant, right? So does iCloud. iCloud does the same thing. Mm-hmm. So it's taking photos on one device, putting them somewhere else. So that is built-in redundancy. When you're organizing your own photos on a hard drive or on local storage, it's really important to think about redundancy as well. Mm-hmm. So without getting like too into the weeds on the technicalities of this, there are ways to set up hard drives that mirror each other. The way that we do that is through RAID systems. So we basically have these boxes underneath our desk that have 4 hard drives in them, and 2 hard drives are copying 2 of the other hard drives, if that makes sense. So you always have photos in 2 places, because one thing that happens often with hard drives is they fail. And so we've had, in 11 years of doing this, we've had probably 4 hard drives that have failed on us, and we've never lost a single photo because we were redundant with our storage.
Redundancy can be a good thing.
Yeah. We've heard horror stories from other people who, and we got to learn from other people's mistakes in this. Early on, we had a mentor that was like, look, you got to have everything in at least 2 places. Mm-hmm. Really, the goal is to have everything in 3 places at any given time.
Yeah, especially as professionals. Like maybe as just a person that's trying to protect your own photos, you don't necessarily need to go out and buy these very expensive systems, but it's something to think about for sure.
And if you don't want to buy external hard drives and deal with all that mess, there are services that make this really easy that you can pay a monthly fee for. Mm-hmm. So Backblaze is the one that we use. So we've got our RAID arrays, and then those are backed up to Backblaze, so they're in 3 places at once. Mm-hmm. And what Backblaze does is it's constantly monitoring your hard drives. And when you change something, when you add something, it's going to copy those changes up into the cloud. And if you ever have a hard drive that fails and you can't get your data back, they will literally put everything on our hard drive and mail it to you. So it's just plug and play. Everything's ready to go. You don't have to worry about it. Mm-hmm. There are other services. Carbonite is the only other one I can think of, but I know there's a ton of services that do this. And then if you're using Apple, they also offer time machine backup, which is, again, kind of you don't have to think about it. It's a plug and play, and you walk away, and it does everything for you. So when you set up time machine backup, you're plugging in an external hard drive, and then that hard drive every hour or so is backing up all of your data from your computer. So then that, again, if your hard drive fails in your computer, you can put a new one in, hook up your time machine backup, and it'll bring you back to where you were, and you haven't lost anything.
Yeah. So those are kind of the online storage solutions that we wanted to talk through in terms of how to get in there and organize your photos in a way that feels intuitive for you and workable for you. The thing about those is that if I got in my Wayback Machine and I went back in time to, let's just say, like the Renaissance, that feels like a good time to go to. Okay, we're in the Renaissance. And I've got my USB drive, and I'm like, sir, can you please help me find the pictures of my daughter's birth? He's going to be like, no, ma'am, I can't. Let's go ask Leonardo da Vinci, right? Is that what he would say?
I don't know.
So.
Is that what he...
However, if I walked up to him and I was like, here, look, he would be able to experience this photo in the same way that a caveman would be able to experience this photo, in the same way that you and I can experience this photo, in the same way that in 200 years when we're flying around like the Jetsons, they will be able to experience this photo, right? It is transcendent of time. It is irrespective of technology. It's tangible.
Totally.
And this is the thing that is most important to us that you guys get today. That all of our memories exist in technology, but that's not how they were meant to be experienced. They were not meant to be experienced on your phone, because one day your phone's going to be gone away, right? So you need to print your photos. And we do not care at all how you do this.
Yeah.
We just care that you do it. So we're going to talk about a few of our favorite, super inexpensive, super easy ways to print your photos so that your Jetson great grandchildren can experience these photos. All right.
Totally.
So you want to do chapbooks first?
Yeah.
Love me some chapbooks. Okay, so chapbooks is very, very easy. It's an automatized way. It can be. You can do it one-off if you want, but it can be a subscription way to print your images. So what it can do, if you want it to, is it can hook up to your Instagram account, and every single time you post enough pictures to fill a book, it will automatically order a book for you. And so these are some of our chapbooks. And they, on the binding, kind of say, sorry, this is
let me pull it back to this so they can see better.
On the binding, it tells you when it is from. So these are 2015 that I grabbed. And we'll go, oh my goodness, we'll go to this one because look at that nugget on a beach.
This was our trip to Costa Rica, I believe.
I'm gonna catch some feels here. But the way that it works is that, when you upload your family pictures to your Instagram account, which we have a separate Instagram account for our professional work and our family work, because no offense to our amazing couples, but I would rather have books of our kids than of our professional work, just because my kids are awesome. So it automatically prints out the pictures, and you can choose to, I got bangs.
To give them captions.
Yeah, you can choose to have them print the captions that go along with it, or you can choose to have them leave it out, and they will automatically do that. These are super, super inexpensive. Okay, I'm talking like $6 or $7 a book, I think. And the way that it works is it will just automatically do it, or you cannot do a subscription base, and you can just set a date with yourself and say, this is what I do. Every quarter, I'm going to go through my pictures, and I'm going to choose the ones that I want to keep forever. And what I'm going to do with those is I'm going to order prints of them. And so I can do that through chapbooks. We really like Artifact Uprising as well. They make gorgeous, gorgeous albums. One thing, if you guys join Artifact Uprisings, we are not paid to say this at all, but if you join their mailing list, I think about once a quarter.
It seems to be multiple times a year.
Yeah, they send out a promo code for 25 free prints. You pay for shipping, it's like $4. and you get 25 super high quality free prints, and you can kind of choose the size of them. So I always do that because it's free and I like free stuff. And so these are some of like the Artifact Uprising images that we used our 25 free prints for last year. And these pictures, we will always have them from that road trip. And it's such a special thing. So don't ever feel like so overwhelmed by the number of pictures that you take. It's okay. Like if you take 20,000 pictures a year,
you don't need to print them all.
No, because some of them are like of your pedicure, like it doesn't, not all of them matter, and that's okay, but some of them matter a lot. So just be intentional about making a date with yourself, drinking some wine, make it fun, get some Sour Patch Kids, and wine. I'm just saying, that sounds amazing. And go through and pick out the 20 to 30 pictures from that quarter that actually mean something to you, that you would like to share with the people who will come generations after you. And go ahead and print those and put them somewhere safe. Our kids love looking through our wedding album. They love looking through our wedding album. They don't go and like look through our iCloud photos ever. Right? But every single year on our anniversary, they sit down and flip through that album because it's tangible. There is something magic about images and memories in tangible form. They let you relive those moments in a completely different way, and they're never going to go out of style. Ever.
Yeah, so true. Well said.
Thanks. Sorry for lecturing you. I just feel really strongly about it.
So there you have it. Those are some of our favorite ways to organize photos. I do think that what you said is worth reiterating, which is it doesn't matter if you have, 30,000 photos on a hard drive if you're not doing anything with them. So print them out, put them on your wall. Ultimately, that's the best way to organize photos. It's the best way to experience a photo is to experience it in real, tangible form and not on a screen that sits in an office that you only want to be in front of when you're working.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so true. Yeah.
So what questions do you guys have? We want to know what you guys want to learn about on our YouTube channel and on these Friday Lives. We are really excited. I don't know that I said this at the beginning, but we just started our YouTube channel, and we're really excited about
Tube noobs.
We're tube noobs. And we're really excited about where that's going to go. When Ashley and I sat down and we talked about our goals for the year and for the next few years, YouTube is a huge part of it. We want to educate. We want to share what we know with other people about photography. And part of that is just being a constant learner of photography. We want to learn more. And so we're really excited about our YouTube channel. But we can't do it without you guys. We need to know, what are you curious about? What do you want to learn about? So a few things. In the comments of this video, wherever you're watching it, doesn't matter if you're on one of our Facebook channels or if you're on our YouTube channel, drop a question in the comments and just tell us one thing that you want to learn or want to get better at in photography.
Yeah.
And we will do our best to answer your questions. If we don't know the questions, we'll go and research best practices and we will make a video about that.
Yeah.
Number 2, head over to our YouTube channel. That's you can easily get there by going to youtube.thescobeys.com. That'll take you right to our channel, and hit the subscribe button. We are doing a giveaway right now. So for our first 100 subscribers, and we're at 80 something right now. We're getting close.
Yeah.
So make sure to be one of the next 20 to get in on this deal. But for our first 100 subscribers, we are going to randomly select some of you, and you are going to get a free course from us. You're going to get our Manual Mode Bootcamp course as well as our OSNAP photography course. Those two resources will walk you through knowing nothing about photography all the way through to shooting in manual like a pro, knowing exactly how to use your camera and getting that technology out of the way so that you can create photos that you've dreamed of creating, the photos that are in your head that you want to put into the world.
Yeah.
So if you're one of our first 100 subscribers, you'll be entered to win automatically. If you're curious about shooting in manual mode and you want a free resource, we've put together a free cheat sheet. You can find that in this link right here, manualbootcamp.com. and just head over there, put in your email address. We'll send you that cheat sheet to your inbox, and you can start shooting a manual.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thanks for the comments and the likes and the subscribes. We really appreciate them. And we will see you guys in the next video.
Yeah, see you next Friday. Friday Live Day.
All right.
Bye. You guys.